Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again to our Zoo EDventures today. We're here at our elephant habitat, the south part of our elephant habitat, kind of lower habitat. Pardon the sun, it's kind of hard to get a shot here, but it's really not about me today, is it? It's all about these magnificent, majestic animals. These elephant shrews are incredible animals. They're amazing, voracious carnivores. And these little guys can eat so many. No? Wendy's taking your, Wendy, no? Where are we, Wendy? Is this, no, not the shrews today?
Seriously, Steve? Not
the shrews? It's April 1st. That's the best I got. How's that? So yeah, oh, look at this. Check this out. So before we even get into elephants in general, Nakonda's going after whole thing right in her mouth. She's looking for things. I want you to think back to some of your other EDventures experiences you've seen. So there's things out there. What she had was a bag that had treats in it, like a little tiny bit of sweet feed, some sweet potatoes, some Timothy hay cubes. That's what was in those bags. And that's our zoo term, which is enrichment. You guys remember that term, enrichment? Where we're enriching the animals. We're doing something different and special for the animals, challenging them to do things they might do in the wild. He's going to get all of them. Again, that's Nakonda, a 32-year-old female. In the middle is Rafiki. She's kind of the dominant female in this group. And then Cesar in the back there. They were just put out here for us, which is awesome. Thank you so much, elephant keepers, for doing that. So we'll come back to the enrichment. So they've scattered some food. There was Ashley and Aaron out here earlier. So they scattered some food out there for the elephants to force to find while they're out. And that's an enrichment. Encouraging the animals, challenging them to do things similar to they might do in the wild. So in the wild, elephants are roaming, they're foraging, they're looking for food. Cesar found his own little hay pile out there. You saw, looks like Rafika's going, hey, wait, is there anything more up here? Looking for more of those treats, looking for more of that enrichment, the things the keepers provide to encourage the animals to do what they would do in the wild. So again, Cesar, our big male over here, he's 46 years old. The oldest African elephant in North America. Those beautiful, majestic tusks. People get asked a lot how much these guys weigh. We didn't get specifics, so I'm going to talk about that in a second. But our littler elephants, our smaller ones, are 7, 8, 9,000 pounds. That's a few cars. That's a couple cars. Our large males can push 13,000 pounds. 2,000 pounds in a ton. 2,000 goes into 13,000. 2 goes into 3, 6, 2. That's like 6 tons. Wow. That's a few cars. That's how heavy these individual animals are. We need to think about elephants. We have other elephants. We actually have 2 groups. We have 2 groups. So today it's these 3 working in this yard. In our other habitat, there might be some other elephants up there. We have, let's see, 4 others. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. But we do want to tell you a little bit about elephants in general. Obviously, not elephant shrews, right? How many tens of thousands of elephant shrews? They're little tiny critters. Make up one of these guys. They're herbivores. Herbivores. There are plant eaters, right? Carnivores were the meat eaters. Herbivores are our plant eaters. This is the largest terrestrial. Where do they live? In the water? On the land? Yeah, terrestrial animals living on the land. Our largest terrestrial animal in general, but especially plant eaters. I want to show you one of their teeth. This is amazing. I'll come back to you. How cool is that? This is a replica of one elephant's molar. Where are your molars? Back here? Yeah, these are your grinding teeth. The kind of line you see there on this tooth, that's kind of like the gum line. So if you're looking in the mouth of an elephant, you'd see this. The bottom part is the root of the tooth of the elephant. The bottom is the root of the tooth, and that anchors the tooth in the mouth of the elephant. Now this one is big. This is from an adult. How many sets of teeth do we get? Do people get? Humans, you and me. How many sets of teeth? How many times do we lose them? How many sets of teeth? We get two. We get two sets of teeth. We get our baby teeth, and later on, we get our adult teeth. So we lose or we shed our baby teeth, and the adult teeth come in. Elephants get 6 sets of teeth. Oh, a little breezy. Get 6 sets of teeth. That's crazy. The baby teeth are about the size of a deck of cards. Their baby teeth are so big. And then as they grow and grow and grow, this is what they get. So it'd be kind of in the mouth like this. Couldn't fit. Even my big mouth, I won't fit in there. Would we have back here? And it'd be pushing forward. Doesn't come up like this. It's pushed almost like on a conveyor belt, and then it's flicked out of the mouth. We have a question.
We had a question if our vets perform dental care, or do you have animal dentists?
There are animal dentists, and our vets won't perform that kind of care, but there are vets out there who will come and do work on our elephants. Sometimes the elephants need work on their teeth. One of our elephants needed work on his tusk, and the tusk is just a modified tooth. So we do have people that will come and do that. So there are people who will take care of them. Now our keepers are also constantly looking and constantly paying attention to see how well those teeth are doing. So they're checking them out, making observations. It's amazing what keepers do, right? It's not just food or water. They're making amazing observations and seeing subtle, tiny changes sometimes. Then communicating those changes among the team and with the vets. I think that's kind of cool. So these guys, and guess here's the other thing. You and I might have 32-ish teeth in our mouth. These guys only have 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 2 tusks. So 6 teeth on an animal that big. That's crazy. If that's their tooth, oh, do you see that? Let's talk about that tool that Nakonda is using there. That's her trunk. Yes, you. No, I don't think she knows me. I'm using her name. But she's using her trunk to get some water. Did you notice that she doesn't drink through it? It isn't a straw. She pulled water up into her trunk, and then she put it in her mouth. She spit the water into her mouth from her trunk. The trunk is kind of like a modified upper lip and nose. It's so amazing being here on a day like today. By the way, those of you tuned in on Monday and you saw Leslie's on raptors, I need her agent. It's cold today. Got a little bit of sunshine, but it's chilly here today. Just another drink of water by Nakonda. It's awesome seeing the animals do what they'd be doing in their home ranges. And that's what Nakonda would be doing. She'd be using her trunk to take a drink. She's a little messy, isn't she? But at this time of COVID-19 and social distancing and everything that's going on, it's nice to be able to share this part of the zoo with you guys. I know you guys are working really hard sometimes at home, making sure that everything's going well. This really remarkable time. We'll put this down. I want to talk to you a little bit more. We do have folks that are answering your questions, so please don't hesitate to ask those questions when you're out there. show you another thing, give you an idea how big these animals are. It's easy when you kind of see, and I tell you they're big, and I tell you that they're, 9 feet tall. I tell you that they weigh 12,000 pounds, and that 9 feet is me plus half of me, and that's how big it is, almost a basketball hoop. But look at this life-sized replica, not a real foot, a replica foot. I mean, come on. That's life-size. I mean, look at this. That's just the bottom part of their foot. 5 toes. The neat thing is back here. This is missing. Just do me a favor. Stand up and stand on your tippy toes. I gotta stay in screen. Stand up, stand on your tippy toes. That's how these guys are walking all the time. These are their toes. Those are their toes. So they're on their tippy toes all the time. 8, 10, 12,000 pound animal on their tippy toes. Back here, on the back part of the foot, is almost like a fat pad. It's almost like a bunch of fats put together that cushions the foot. Believe it or not, when these guys walk, they barely create tracks on the sand. It'd be awesome to be above these guys so you can look down on them to see those, that the tracks aren't really being made when our elephants are walking out there. Because that fat pad disperses or spreads out that weight, and you spread it out over the 4 legs, they don't leave much of a track. Now, I'm saying track, not path. If you're a 10,000 pound animal walking through the forest, you're going to create a path, aren't you? But yeah, they don't leave too much of an indention, of a dent, of a kind of an impression on the ground because of this massive foot. And this fat pad that's back here, and you can kind of see it when they're walking, it kind of mushes out a little bit, kind of squishes out to the side some. They can actually feel vibrations through that too. Now they're not really hearing, but they can sense those vibrations through the ground. Elephants communicate in a very low rumble sometimes. It's infrasound. It's hard to even hear. Sometimes you can't hear it at all. And those infrasounds can travel through the ground, and they can feel them in their feet. African elephant, look at that again. Huge, huge foot. I think it's crazy and cool. We were talking about the trunk a second ago. Trying to keep up with them too is really hard. Oh, going for more enrichment. I think Nakonda's like 3 for 3. Rafiki not so much. Rafiki just enjoying some hay. But check this out. We're talking about size again. I want to do size because for us at the zoo, sometimes we need to remember that not everybody gets to be as close as we are sometimes. Check this out. This was measured from Cesar. He was the big elephant that came by a second ago with the 2 long tusks. This was measured from him years ago. Look at this. This is his trunk. I don't know how high I can get. That's his trunk. I mean, look at that. Do I look like Cesar? Probably not. That would have been the April Fool's joke, right? Look at that. I'm a little over 6 feet tall. Seriously? That's his nose and his upper lip kind of put together. Look at it flapping in the wind. No, normally it wouldn't do that. It's full of muscles. The human body has, 600-700 muscles that helps us smile, helps us frown, helps us run, move our arms, move our legs. Muscles help us do and move. In the elephant's trunk alone, how many muscles? I bet some of you actually know, because you've been on a zoofari experience at the zoo, or you've talked to a keeper. Did you say 40,000? Yeah, in the trunk of an elephant. And they use this bottom part, and you might be able to see them doing it every once in a while, to grab stuff from the ground. They can pick up very small items, blades of grass, and they can move huge items as well with their trunk. Amazing tool of the elephant. got a question.
How do they clean their trunk?
How do they clean their trunk? That's a great question. And I'm going to add something to it. You can actually do some work with the elephants. They'll pull water up, and then they spit it right out. And sometimes our keepers might work with the elephants to do that to make sure there's nothing in their trunk. It's kind of, again, it's a part of their nose, so they can pull it up and test discharge, kind of yucky stuff, but out of their nose, so they can spit it out and work with them. Our guys here, wasn't going to talk about this too much. We're going to talk about a few things today. Are trained to do so many amazing things. Again, the keepers with the elephants and the keepers at the zoo in general do some really cool training. One thing for these guys, they're being trained to do foot care. They can actually come in and present their feet to the keepers that tend to them, and they can look at their feet and make sure their feet are in great shape. Because you can imagine, if you're carrying around that much weight, your feet are really important to you. Some of our elephants are trained to do voluntary blood draws. So our keepers have built up the bond with them, so they can do. So the elephants will come over and they'll stand there quietly, all things considered. How they can draw blood from the ear, all while getting a reinforcer, or a yes, thank you, great job, thanks for cooperating with me today. Amazing animals. You can see that's Nakanda in the backpack, eating, picking up the hay. 2, maybe 300 pounds a day per elephant. Imagine how many heads of lettuce that might be for you and I. I don't have the math on that one. But imagine how much a head of lettuce weighs. Divide that into 200 or 300 pounds. There's a math quiz for you. Find out how much a head of lettuce weighs. Divide that into, let's say, 300 pounds. That's how many heads of lettuce you'd be eating if you were an elephant. And then, after you've eaten 200 or 300 pounds, you might have to go to the bathroom. Look at this. There's a nice shot of Rafiki coming over to say hi. Rafiki only has the one tusk. You mentioned sometimes the tusk, just like teeth, things can happen to the teeth. And it needs to be modified teeth. So you know what that is. We said 200 pounds, 300 pounds in, some's got to come out, right? This is called, fancy science term, this is a bolus. Some of you are saying, no, it's not. I know what that is. And you do. You're exactly right. I'm kind of coming over. What are you guys doing? This is a bolus. It is a piece of elephant poop. Now, transparency. It has been, this is as old as some of you guys, and I bet older than a lot of you. This was made about 12 years ago. It was sanitized and cleaned, and then it was shellacked and lacquered and shellacked and lacquered. And it's essentially poop plastic now because of everything that's around it. So it's easy to hold. I can handle it no problem. And I can do it safely. So this is what comes out after the elephants eat that 200 pounds of food. We'll do 200 because the math is really easy. The digestive system is not very good on elephants. So they eat so much food, but a lot of what they eat is pooped out intact. It's not been digested. And can you guys see? Wendy, can you tell me if you can see that? Down a little bit, she said. Over this way a little bit. Come a little closer. Excellent directions, Wendy. As Wendy and I are maintaining our social distance, she's over with hand signals telling me what to do. Can you see the hay inside? And if you have really good eyes, you might see some small seeds and things like that. Pieces of fruit might be in there. So it's passed literally intact. And the feces, the dung of the elephant, is really important to animals in their native habitat. Because animals in native habitat, not a job I want, but they eat this. They use it for water. Sometimes even homes or for laying their eggs in. You've heard of dung beetles rolling away those little balls of poop, putting an egg in or using it for food later on. It's almost like a mini grocery store for a lot of animals where the elephants live in the wild. How about that? Their digestive system is so inefficient, it's so not good, however, that about half of what they goes in comes out undigested. So if they're eating 200 pounds, they're pooping out maybe 100 pounds. Majestic animals, aren't they? So way over there on the far right-hand side is Cesar. So he's hanging out a little further away. And then the two females over here. Again, these are non-breeders. We're not breeding these guys at this point, at this time. I do want to talk about another story about elephants, and that has to do with this thing. What is that? What is that? Here, hold it. It's really heavy. No? Okay. All right. I'll hold it. So this is the tusk of an elephant. This is one that was cut off of an animal. So this is real. Now, this is one that we were able to get from an elephant here after there was damage to the tusk. It's kind of neat. All those scrapes and breaks on it. Again, just a modified tooth. And this part of the tooth, what you see is only about 2/3 length. There's another large portion up inside the mouth. The root is up inside the mouth. And this is just a modified tooth. And the elephant's tusk is really vital to their survival. They use it to dig. They use it to knock things over, trees, to get the leaves on the top. They use it in fights for dominance. Even just as a visual display, sometimes that's enough. Say, I'm the boss right now, look at me, I'm big, I'm a big elephant. Don't mess with me. So these tusks can tell a lot of stories. And unfortunately, they're being poached for these tusks in their native habitats. Being killed illegally, poached for their teeth. Kind of strange. And we really don't have any need for ivory, the tusk of an elephant, do we? Elephants need it so much more than you and I do. It's one of their survival tools, kind of like their multi-tool in the wild. It does so much for them. And it's unfortunate to hear that they're being poached. But your North Carolina Zoo is working to do things to help prevent that illegal killing. Doing a couple things. You might have heard us talk about SMART in the past. SMART is an anti-poaching software, kind of for tracking where animals are. That's one thing that we're doing. We're training rangers in the wild. Let me get a device so you can see what it looks like. They're like modified smartphones. So we're training rangers how to use these. And with this information, they populate maps, see where animals are and maybe where poaching activity is. And they can better direct rangers to those places. We're going to talk more about this activity, more of the conservation of elephants in another segment. I just want to let you know that, yeah, we're doing something. We're not just realizing there's a problem. We're also collaring elephants and tracking them. We're collaring them, tracking them, seeing where they're going and finding their migration patterns, finding where they go, and we share that with the people of Africa. We're in Africa, sharing that information as we collar the animal. To say, okay, the elephants are up here, the elephants in the north, don't plant your crops there, harvest them so the elephants don't eat them. And then you guys in the south, this is a time for you to plant and then harvest before the elephants migrate down. And when the elephants leave, then guys up here, plant and get your crops ready. We'll go into a lot more detail on that another time, but I wanted you to know for sure that we are definitely doing things to help elephants in their native Africa at this point. We have a hand up over there. What you got, Wendy?
You really floored them with the amount of poop that these guys
You're welcome.
poop out every day. So they would like to know what we do with the poop.
Oh, fantastic. that could be a whole nother segment. And some of you may have seen some of it. But in general, we compost the feces from a lot of our herbivores, from where SSA, our food provider, they do all kinds of stuff for us. We compost all that material. So all that poop from the elephants, from the rhinos, from all of the herbivores here is put in a compost program here at the zoo. So we don't send it out. We're saving money in shipping. It's staying here. And we have a gentleman here whose part of his job is to literally take care of that compost pile. So he turns it and moves it, makes sure the temperatures stay up so it begins to decompose and break down all the bacteria in there, breaks down all the bad stuff inside the feces from the animals. And as he does that, he's turning that compost into compost for us. He's turning in that manure. He's turning in all that material into compost that's being used here. So it's a huge savings for the zoo. And maybe we'll talk to you about that. If you'd like to learn more about the composting and some of the green technology that we're doing here, please let us know. But so we're keeping all of that on park, rotating it, turning it, and then we're using it. Yeah. So in the aviary maybe, or in the desert, around the park, if we're using compost, if we need compost, we're making it here. So we don't have to go buy it. We don't have to, one, purchase it and go find it. Two, we don't have to go to it or have it sent to us. So that travel cost is eliminated. That carbon dioxide is eliminated too. How about that? So that's what's going on with a lot of the feces here, a lot of the manure that's going on here. Have something really kind of fun to show you. Before we do that, got a shout out. I'm being a little selfish today. Today's shout out is to the keepers here at the North Carolina Zoo, the Hort staff, environmental services, to maintenance being called in, IT being called in, guys that are kind of doing double duty these days. Thank you guys so much for being around, being present. So our shout out is to the zoo staff keeping us going at this time of COVID, making sure that we're safe, the animals are safe and taken care of. So great job, guys. We're happy that you guys are part of this amazing team that we call the North Carolina Zoo. How do I look? Do I look elephantish? Debbie's shaking her head no. This is a craft you can make. This is just a sock. Nikki was going to make the elephant, Nikki made this for us. Nikki was going to make our elephant's trunk reddish, because as a lot of you know, our elephants kind of have a red tint to them because of the Ashboro red clay around here. But she made it this white. Making it white, then you can put in all kinds of patterns. She's put a couple patterns in there to make it look more like an elephant's trunk. And it's just a sock. I'd put my hand in there, but yeah, it's not going to fit. I'll show. Thank you. Wendy's saying, turn around so you can see it. So this has been posted. Debbie took time to post this, and you can't really see it real well, but it's on the website, Debbie? It's on the event page, the Facebook event page. So this is posted, so you can make this craft at home. But Nikki was kind enough to make one. And then you can paint it however you want. You can name your elephant. You can add these tusks, which is really cool. And then here's the back. I mean, it's not very difficult. There's the sock. Put your hand in there. And then there's games you can play. You can put your hand there and try to grab stuff with it. Try to become an elephant. Play like you're an elephant. I think that'd be kind of fun to be able to do that. I need a bigger hand, though. My hand's not going to fit. Not going to work. But that's the craft for today. And that is written up. And again, we were told it's on the Facebook event page, so you can see that already. Need a name for this elephant. So yeah, there you go. And something you can do, a game, and you can turn it into a game. You can do things, I believe that's also on the website. Kind of neat. Well, I truly hope you guys have enjoyed learning today about the African elephants that we have here from North Carolina Zoo. We were able to meet Rafiki, Nakanda, and Cesar for a moment. He came by for a visit. We learned about some of the individuals here, and then we learned about elephants in general. We learned about their tusks and their trunk. We learned about some of their lifestyle, what they eat. And we shared the craft with you as well. We do hope you guys are staying safe and sound out there. We are really, really, really fingers crossed that everything's going well. One of these days we'll be open and you guys will be able to come back and visit. Can you imagine being able to come down and visit the elephants now with a little bit more knowledge that you have that we've been able to share with you? keep on asking those questions if you have some. If you have any comments or you have any things you would like to see, give us a shout out. We are in a little bit of a skeleton situation at the zoo right now because of COVID, so we're working in teams. So that was something that we'll have to work with to try to get some of these segments filmed for you so you guys can see them. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Zoo Adventure, 10 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And be on the lookout for some really fun new content coming your way soon. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Bye now.